Hello comic fans, here's Earl Grey. Today I want to talk about Gotham by Gaslight, which is considered to be the first Elseworld story in the DC universe, even though it was never called an Elseworld story. The German title is Schatten über Gothams Vergangenheit. It's a reimagination of Batman in the 19th century, written by Brian Augustyn, drawn by Mike Mignola, and inked by p.craig Russell. And maybe this very dark cover is a first hint what kept me away from liking this comic too much, even though everyone and his or her mama praised this book a lot. I never got into it too much, even though I'm a big fan of Mike Mignola, but some of the pages are just too dark and muddled, and a big part was just the coloring being too dark, and maybe it's some kind of this German edition with the paper and stuff being a bit more extra dark. I don't think that I spoil too much, if you can see this here. It evolves or connects the world of Gotham with the Jack the Ripper, could I say, mythos, or this crime mystery. And if you ever have read Alan Moore's From Hell, this new imagining, it's a bit unfair because this is such a short story, but this reimagining can't knock you out of the park or off your shoes or whatever. It's pretty obvious, the solution at the end, and I was never too impressed with the story, and to be frank, with Mike Mignola's art, there are really better examples of his art. At least I thought so. But when you look at this book here, the recently published Batman Noir, Gotham by Gaslight, you see Mike Mignola's art in all his splendid glory, and it's really pretty fantastic. Suddenly all this stuff here makes sense, and as the kayfabers recently, or not so recently, have shown us, it's quite good to have a story that plays in the 19th century, to have presented in this way, because this screams 19th century to you. They reviewed the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen from Alan Moore and the oversized Absolute Edition, and there something similar happens, stuff that you have never seen because it was hidden by small size, first thing, and the coloring suddenly is visible, and it looks like 19th century art to you. And here Mike Mignola's art really looks like we know and love him, totally crisp, and the story clearly can't improve by this way, but it's way more enjoyable, and in the end you're really satisfied and having the feel to have read a really good comic. And the same is true with the second story here, because it wasn't really a one-shot or more a two-shot by Brian Augustyn, even though the second story is drawn by Eduardo Barreto, and he's the cover artist, seems so as well. And I found his faces, the depiction of Bruce Wayne, for an example, and some other characters, pretty generic, but otherwise here are splendid pages, in especially in black and white, and you can discuss if this is the best use of black and white or the contrast, because It's not the clearest way to depict a scene, because you have this black here above, but I really liked it, and there is some unusual panel layout here, for an example. Look at this panel. It's not that my mobile doesn't record this. This is really just the black. All the upper half is drenched in black, but it's really unusual and good, in my opinion. Yeah, the second story is more a bit steampunkish around this Leroy character villain here. In the first part, we have even a very short cameo of the Joker, and I wondered if what had happened when they have used this 19th century Joker version for a story. But as far as I know, there hasn't been a third story of these Elseworlds 19th century steampunkish Bruce Wayne version here. So yeah, I really love these Batman noir books. They are a bit too expensive, in my opinion. $30 or yeah, it's maybe a bit expensive, but if you have the nerve to wait a bit longer, maybe they get cheaper, as a lot of these Batman noir books. But sometimes they are out of print, and then you have lost big time, I think. So, thanks for listening and watching. Goodbye.